Hello, Capricorns. This is Karen, the Forest Empress, and I am here with your June reading for the first 2 weeks of June. I've pulled your spread already, and we will pull a Power Animal Oracle card to tie everything together at the end. So the first thing we have coming up is actually the card at the bottom of the deck, which is the underlying energy for the whole reading, and we actually got the Hierophant. So whatever you're going through here, the underlying energy seems to be saying that there's some kind of moral dilemma that you're dealing with. And it's important that you stay true to yourself and to your own beliefs as you're going through this. The advice here is to kind of strike out on your own path, and those that are meant to join you on this journey are going to follow you, whether they subconsciously realize it or not, and those who are not meant are going to just fall off as they should because those people are not serving you. Now, let's get into the reading here. The first card that we have is the past and the influence the past is having. We actually have the Two of Cups. This is in a lot of card readers' opinions, this card is actually kind of a better significator for marriage than even the Lovers are. This card is about a very loving, nurturing union, whether it be an actual relationship or, in a business sense, it could be a kind of a mutual respect and cooperation. So if you're looking at this towards your work, that's what that would be. But in most cases, the Two of Cups is talking about a love relationship. It talks about, it's a very good card for commitment. So, and then if you're not in a committed relationship, when this card shows up, it is the potential for a loving union or a prosperous partnership in terms of business, if you're looking at it that way. So this is, as we're coming from May into June, this is the card that's coming up. So, and it would be representing the past. So maybe you have been in a relationship and there could be some moral dilemma within that relationship that you're facing, and you're trying to figure out if this is something that you can work with or if this is something that is just a deal breaker for you. And that's, up for you to determine. However, we do have a few major arcanas here. In fact, the overlying energy or underlying energy, however you want to say it, is the Hierophant. And so there is some fate and destiny at work here. There is something important that needs to be learned from this relationship from you, probably from the other person too, but we're reading for you right now. Whether this relationship works out or not, it is going to teach you something very valuable about yourself, as most relationships do, whether we acknowledge that they have or not. Now, what we have as an obstacle, or what you have as an obstacle in your path, is the Three of Cups in reverse. This is saying that, everything in moderation right now. So maybe you need to kind of, you're assessing your situation, trying to figure out if you can handle whatever this is. You have a lot of love for this person, but can this work out, kind of thing. If there's something within the relationship that is disenchanting you, try to find the things that are worth celebrating within the relationship. So if you need to make a list of pros and cons, or like in some cases, the Three of Cups can signify a love triangle. So maybe you might need to pull out a pen and paper and make a list about each person and who might be the better option for you. And that could give you kind of a better way to just kind of take a step back and look at what your options are. This card can also tell us, as it is in the obstacles position, don't take others' feelings for granted in this decision that you're making. You might need to take their feelings into consideration, and don't take them for granted either. So while this is all going on, you have this beautiful union, and maybe you don't know if it's really working for you or not, but it still is beautiful in itself for whatever reason. Maybe find those reasons. Even if you know it might not work out, you still might want to just enjoy it for what it is in the time being right now. Now, for what you have working in your favor, we actually have the Devil card. So if you are feeling great about your relationship. You have a beautiful, blessed union. You know, there's mutual respect, very nurturing relationship. The Devil card actually, even though it looks a little scary, it does mean unbreakable bonds. So it actually is a good card as an omen for marriage, or good omen for marriage, rather. So if you are making the decision to work through this relationship, it can be something that is going to be a very strong foundation for you too. Or you could see this relationship, if you're maybe not feeling it so much, you could see this relationship as being something that is going to put you in chains to some degree. So that might be something for you to take into consideration also. Somebody, you know, when this card comes up, somebody could be lying about something, somebody could be manipulating you in some way, but this showed up as influences working in your favor. So maybe you're the one lying or manipulating in this case, and maybe it is to protect the other person's feelings or to protect your own feelings. It could be that. If you are the one being deceived, though, you will see through the deception. And then again, that's another just point on your list of, is this something that I want to really deal with? Or is this something that is really not going to be serving me? But the choice is yours, because the major arcana that you have, the cards that are a little more rigid in terms of like, this is more kind of fate or destiny based, you have the Devil, you have the Hierophant, and then your eventual outcome is the major arcana. But everything else here is something that you do actually have control over. Now, if this is about business, then the Devil card could show up in a way that would be saying that there's always kind of these little games that people play in business, and it's saying that, you know, you're welcome to play along in these games. Maybe you could end up actually being quite good at these games, because they could involve lying or manipulating, and not in like a really big way, but in kind of a business sense. And if you do choose to engage in playing this business type game, you need to remember that it is just a game. That's what the message is here. If it is in regards to business. Also, the Devil card can come up when there is an obstacle that is presenting yourself in your life that it cannot necessarily be overcome, but it can be worked around in some way. So, and then what you have coming up next is actually excellent. And so you're in your very near future, you actually have this card, the Six of Wands, which is the card of victory. This is a fulfilled ambition. So whatever decision you're making, you are making the right decision for you. So if you're choosing to work on the relationship, strengthen it, build that foundation, and work from there, then it actually is going to turn out in the way that you had hoped. Now, if you are deciding to end this relationship, then you actually have something better coming up in your future, and you made the right decision there. So it really is kind of in your personal situation. You're going to know what decision is best for you. Now, this card also can come up when that you've worked very, very hard on something, and your work, this is saying that your work is going to pay off. There might be a little bit more of a wait, but it is going to pay off. So far, June is looking really good for everyone, just energy in general from the other readings that I watch. And so you've earned this. You've had the audacity to work towards something. You're getting the victory for it now. But you can't just take success for granted is also what this is saying. So this is happening in the near future. So whatever you are deciding, you're going to feel that it is the right decision, that it is, you are victorious in this situation. So maybe you're not going to put up with that lying and deceiving or manipulating. And then, you know, you could hear something about the person doing it to someone else. And then you're like, oh, well, there's my victory. I made the right choice. Now, in the long-term future, we actually have the Six of Swords in reverse. And this is interesting because this is saying that, you know, you have whatever victory is coming up in the near future, this card is encouraging you to keep up the momentum from that victory card. So from the near future into the long-term future. So as you go from, I guess, the first week of June into the second week of June towards the end, you need to keep that momentum going, because otherwise there are going to be delays to your larger victory that's coming. This is saying you're starting to see partial success. So maybe that victory started in the near future, and then as it goes further, it's not progressing as much as you want. And that means that you need to step in and keep that momentum going. You need to see clearly where you are going too. You can't, this guy has his head, you can't even really see. This person here who's on the journey isn't even really looking where they're going. It's just the guy who's rowing it. So you need to have a clear idea of what you're heading towards. Be patient, stay focused, stay positive. There is a chance also that some outside person could be contributing to a toxic atmosphere around you. And if that is the case, then you might need to tell someone to go take a hike if that is happening. Or if this is in regards to the relationship, maybe if you broke up with somebody and then they are coming back and creating this toxic atmosphere for you, or maybe showing up at your work or something like that, you might need to kind of put your foot down with this and say, you know what, I made the right decision by breaking up with you, and this is proving it. Or if you are in the relationship, there could be outs and you guys are totally Two of Cups happy together and you don't want to hear it from anyone else. There could be outside people, maybe friends or family, or maybe they're not even friends or family, just acquaintances or something, who are talking smack about your relationship. And then in that case, I would just ignore them, because you guys know what you have, and it is more beautiful than anything that, these toxic people could imagine right now, because people who create those toxic atmospheres are very unhappy with themselves. The eventual outcome of these 2 weeks of June, we actually have the Hermit. This is a beautiful card. I love this card. This is saying you are mastering what you do. You will be the master at what you do. Whatever this dilemma is that came up with this kind of moral dilemma, or whatever you're going through with the Hierophant, this is going to require your immediate focus. So you might need to take some time away from everything else and focus on it. The Hermit is great at just blocking everything else out, walling himself up in his house and dealing with it. And so you might need to do that. There could be a need for some major introspection here. You need to think things through, and whatever you do, do not resist the growth that is coming out of this dilemma or out of this situation. You are learning something very valuable, and it will be put to good use sooner than you think. Let's pull a Power Animal Oracle card and tie everything together for you beautiful Capricorns. Rabbit, fertility, your creativity is at its peak. So when and the Hermit is great actually for creative endeavors, because he's great at just, those people who just go into a room and, go and write a book or do a painting, and they just don't come out for however many hours they're in there all night or something. Maybe that's something you could consider doing. Just go towards a creative endeavor. Or, with the rabbit, I always think of the rabbit as like being very aware of its surroundings. Be aware of your surroundings. And if it's something that you need to run away, don't feel bad. You can run away from it. Rabbits are really good. Just go down into the rabbit hole, and just don't deal with these people who are creating this toxic atmosphere around you, or people who are talking smack. You just might need to run away from that and ignore it, and then let them wallow in their own sadness, because you have something very beautiful in your life. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please like, share, and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. I hope you have a wonderful first 2 weeks of June, Capricorn, and I'm looking forward to seeing you for the second half of June. Thanks, bye.